Welcome to More Artistry on Earth. We are Cryptic Tattoo and Social Gallery in Springfield, Missouri. We are at Carnival of Ink 2025 here at the Springfield Expo Center. And with me, it's a very special guest all the way from Ferguson, Missouri, from St. Louis Ink.
Yes, sir.
Ryan Barnum.
How you doing?
It's awesome to have you, man.
Thank you.
We kept chatting about having you in, but you guys just far enough away that it's not convenient for you to just pop in the crypt and do an interview with us. So
Yeah, my ADD has a tendency to let me wander whenever.
Yeah.
It's like, let's do this now. Let's hurry up and get this going.
Yeah. So let's start from the very beginning. Like how long have you been tattooing?
Okay, so I'm claiming like 7.5, almost 8 years now. I did tattoo right when I got out of high school for like 3 years. And it was back when you didn't really have to go through an apprenticeship. You just kind of just paid you paid for your license. And
Oh, really?
yeah, it was back 2005 to 2007. So then when I was an alcoholic for 15 years, and then I came back and they had rotary machines that looked like
So you
vibrators.
started with coils,
Yeah.
like back in the day, okay.
Yeah, like
And you came
Huck's
back and the world
Ball
was
beans,
changed. You're like,
plastic tubes, like
you were way too young to be that old man going, back in my day.
yeah. I was like, I really did. I felt like I was like, I am fucking old, but I'm
Yeah.
not. Like I feel like
Right.
a kid. Like
You
shave
saw
my
a generation change right in front of you. That's wild. Yeah.
beard. In it. I was in it.
Yeah.
Because when I was at the first tattoo shops, like I worked with Mike Cross. That was the first one I worked with at Jamestown Mall. We were at a mall.
In a
you
mall,
know?
yeah, right on, yeah.
And then after that, I went to Ultimate Art Form, and that was in Wentzville. And that was before Wentzville even was. It was like nothing in Wentzville. It was buildings, but there wasn't. Towns were just then getting built.
Okay.
But they're like, you do some weird shit. Like,
Cool.
I'm like, thanks. I come from like an art background,
Right,
It's
yeah,
like, I want to
yeah.
do some big pieces, and they're like, that's fucking cool, but it's weird.
So you didn't really have like an apprenticeship. You just kind of started. You just kind of got hired on somewhere.
Yeah.
And you just like, here's some bad Polaroid pictures of of decent work, and they're like, yeah, you're hired.
Well, I mean, he knew me from
Okay,
years.
that's fair.
We were always at the same parties,
Okay.
right
right
and
on.
then he was always tattooing, and Jesse Trainter was always tattooing,
Okay.
and Tommy, and all them from T-Dogs. So all the guys always, they started in that shop.
Yeah.
And then now they're branched off, and they got their own shops, so they're carrying on that legacy
Right.
of like,
So you had a pretty robust like network of people to kind of bounce off of, and I mean, so you had a do you feel pretty confident in like in your upbringing, so to speak, like so
Yes.
in your process, and that's
Yes.
that's enlightening. That's
Yes.
that's a good story.
yeah. And then I did have to take an apprenticeship the second time, because after I
Okay.
was done with my alcohol, I called Mike up and I was like, hey, can I get my job back? And he's
But
like,
like, well, we have to go through paperwork now.
yeah. He's like, you actually got to have an apprenticeship. And I'm like,
See, I was surprised that you
Oh.
said it the other way. I was like, I'm pretty sure that was always a process, but I guess it depends on the county or the state.
Missouri. Yeah, Missouri
I know
was
Missouri
very-
is definitely way too lax in a lot of their process, and
but it makes it easy. And they're,
I mean, you got a lot of people that like. I mean, for myself, like I got my license in 3 months. I shouldn't have had it, but I wasn't. But I also had the maturity and the discipline from other. I had
and as
that,
long
that,
as,
that I took it serious, and I but like I didn't have an apprenticeship where I learned anything. I had to learn on my own, like everything else.
Well,
but,
I mean, and
but
that's
there
the
are
best
people that can
way.
do that. There are people that can do that and do it well. Like we Cryptic is full of them.
Yeah.
So for you to have the tenacity to do it, and then step away like you did, and then take care of yourself, and then you came back into it,
Yeah.
and then play the game. Like, all right, well, these are the new rules. I guess here we go. Like that's admirable. That's a tenacity that a lot of people are like, oh, fuck that. I'm done.
I mean, how else are you gonna have? I mean, you got to do stuff the right way sometimes. and
Right.
just
Well,
put
you
your
look
head
back
down
on
and
it,
do
and, yeah.
Because I mean, it was either that or I was gonna do something crazy like a fucking underwater welder to try to make $100,000, and like I'm gonna fucking die, and I don't.
I'm gonna
care.
fight sharks to weld.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And then I looked in the back room, and I'm like, I had my old tool chest there, like
Yeah.
my old Craftsman tool chest that I got. That was my Christmas present one year, was a red Craftsman toolbox. And I
Yeah.
could put all of my tattoo shit in there and make it look real. And I look back and I'm like, I could weld on the skin. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Go back and call my job.
I've heard that before. I've heard that connection before.
Yeah.
No, that's impressive, man. So you've been how long have you been in St. Louis?
I've been in my whole life,
Like
43 years.
so that was from the very beginning.
And like this is the first and only shop that I've been at too.
Yeah.
We had like 4
if you got
shops.
if you got it good, like don't
It's
that's
tight.
And that's a privilege too, like a lot of people have to bounce around quite a bit, so that's good news.
That's a big thing too. Is I don't want to go nowhere because
well, that's the point.
Everybody collects shit.
Well, that
There's
should be.
toys and posters and fucking.
I mean,
it's
everyone
like,
at Cryptic is a nerd about something. I've got mammoths and Ninja Turtles and stuff all over my area. It's just like we want to give them no reason to want to leave, but I mean, life happens. People, but no, that says a lot about you guys and the environment. If you're in a spot where you're like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
And that's all we can hope for. Those are the studios. Those are the shops that we see as peers. That are doing it right. They don't.
Well, you don't realize how much talent. I was talking to Paso. It's like you don't realize how you have it until you could step out, and then people start talking to you that you didn't really know, and they're like, they watch what you do. They appreciate it, and it's like, well, when you're at the shop, you're in that bubble, and that bubble's always comfortable, or it's
It's predictable.
I'm working off that person, and I'm looking at this, and I'm always in motion, getting better, or and then when you get out, you're like, oh, we are pretty good, It's like, yeah, okay.
There's always that little bit of perspective here and there.
Because it's like everybody's doing their own thing at the shop. Like one person you got to work on, he will fly through stuff. You know, it's like he has the speed. He has this. He has that.
Yeah, she takes forever, but man, she's meticulous.
Correct. Like they tell me I do too much. Quit putting out 36 colors. It's like, but it looks cool.
But no, that's how my brain works.
Yeah.
35 and I'm panicking. I feel something's missing.
Where was the last color that I forgot? It's yellow.
I mean, I could just mix everything in the tube and good luck.
Yeah. Oh, I do that.
Which I do that all the time too.
Yeah.
But I make sure that it doesn't come back so I don't have to color match it again because
Okay, so get that out of your head for artwork.
No, I have to. I'm a painter. I get it.
Oh,
I can. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. There we go. And then I can move on. No, I've had to. But panic brain is like one pass, all it takes. It's like, nah.
Panic brain.
But it's fun. It's fun.
Sucks.
But no, man, we really appreciate seeing you. I mean, and you guys had a really cool setup last year in a row, and we had the quad set up, all 4 of us. And we're like, man, the quad's cool, but it's kind of like we were looking at your guys' setup. We were looking at how you guys organize and every, and you had right where you are, you had all kinds of foot traffic and all kinds of it. We're like, that's a good setup. Like that's like we kicked in the door our first year. We made a scene, but David was like, we need to shoot for what they're doing. Like everybody in a row, I mean, hell, I was like, we even considered reaching out to you guys and just building a phalanx, like just owning a whole.
For real.
And then
take
it's like
the whole thing down and just have a big.
Yeah.
Or maybe even have one other one, just so there's a little bit of a divided set.
Sure. Yeah.
They're like, what's up with this aisle?
Yeah. No, this is a goon squad over here. And then we start winning awards left and right. Like something's up.
That would be fucking amazing.
Are you entered at all in anything?
I did yesterday. I did a portrait.
Okay.
Bill the Butcher.
That was yours.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Bill the Butcher. You have anything else lined up this weekend?
No, I gotta get on a circuit of people to start really wanting to come to these things.
Yeah, that's
stuff to do.
I've been spoiled by friends. Some of my biggest pieces. I got a guy coming in tomorrow. He's the guy that prints Carnival of Ink magazine.
Oh, okay.
So he's an old friend of mine. He's my pocket printer. He's a hell of a dude. Real smart. It's just incredible guy. But yeah, he also lets me tattoo crazy shit on him.
That's
So we get to I get to have him, and in May Place, it's going to be probably the most unique thing up there. But like, it's going to be the nice bow on the top with a good friend. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what competition is for me.
Makes it fun.
That's you in graphic design, you don't have that. You don't have that like impulsive people are like, you know what I feel? I just feel like having a logo today. Like, hey girl, let's go get branding packages. Let's go get business cards. Like, no, there's no brick and mortar store for graphic design, But with tattoos, it's different. You start a relationship, and you don't have like a graphic design expo where it's just like, show us your business cards, win a prize, Like, like no, this is pretty cool. Like, hey man, you done with my banner? Right on. You want to come flash your gams on stage for me?
Right. Yeah, no.
Awkward conversations.
None of that shit.
And it's all a tax write-off.
Yeah, you are correct, because, man.
But no, it's awesome to have you, man. It's
Thank you.
great seeing you again. Welcome back. I hope many more years. And any time that you're in the Springfield area or whatever, we want to actually have you in the crypt. I want to sit down and do like a full-on, like hour-long, like really deep dive in your experience. Because, I mean, we want to learn about the other environments. Because, I mean, Springfield, it's a heavy tattoo zone, you know?
Dude,
I mean,
I went
Ferguson,
to Walmart
St. Louis
the
area.
other night,
Yeah.
and I went to go get groceries, so I wasn't going to, starve from eating
Fair
burritos
enough.
and gas station food and shit, But everywhere I looked, tattoo person.
Yeah.
I passed out 30 business cards in
Well,
like
I mean,
10 seconds.
This event will probably do that. But, yeah, at the same time, like, the good news is that, yeah, like, it's oversaturated, but there's a lot of really good talent. And there's enough people for everybody. I mean, case in point, like, nobody,
There is, 7.5 billion people on this earth.
It's like it's fine. Nobody's
so-
gonna be, and we're poly-professional. We share clients. We don't,
I ain't worried about it. I ain't worried. I'm usually one covering stuff
Right,
up
but it is
anyway,
wild when you look
know.
on Google how many tattoo shops are in Springfield. And you're like, damn, and it's just like how many of them in the last. We've only been on our street for like for a year and a half, and there's already like another 12 on our street alone. We're like. And every one of them has great, talented artists.
You
Like,
said 12?
Like, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. There's 12 on just our street alone. There's a lot. There's like somewhere in the 80s in Springfield. Now, I don't know how many of them are closed down and just haven't like taken, but that's what Google said. And that's the thing. It always boils down to like tiny town. And I get pissed off. It's like, it is 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. There should not be this much traffic. Don't you people have jobs?
Right.
And then I realized, oh wait, you're probably all tattoo artists like me. Never mind.
Damn, that's crazy.
But I appreciate you, man. Thank you so
you.
much
I
for taking a
appreciate
few
you,
minutes
too.
with me. And like I said, we'll get you in town, and we'll get you set up in
I do want to start traveling.
get your whole crew in there. We'll all pile you in on the couch, and
That'd be tight.
Yeah.
I got a van with a bed, so I can just throw me out an extension cord, man.
Yeah.
I'm good.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Give me a shower in the morning. I'm
Yeah, dude.
fine.
So, Ryan Barnum, St. Louis Inc. Where can people find you?
You can hit us up at 12763 New Halls Ferry, St. Louis, Missouri. My name's Ryan Barnum. You can hit Ryan_Barnum_ on Instagram and Ryan.Barnum2 on Instagram also. And then just Ryan Barnum for Facebook. Man, that's pretty much. I ain't trying to get too much more social medias,
Yeah,
than
no, I don't
3.
blame you.
I got hacked one time by a guy from Jamaica, and I hacked him back and got my shit back. It took 8 hours. 8 hours, man. 4 days or something.
Nerd.
Like that. Yeah.